Well, at least my wallet's finally safe. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel today, and of course, welcome back to RailChief74. Now, I wasn't necessarily going to make a video like this in my entire life. Well, not just in my entire life, but also on the channel in general. But I really did need to make this video anyways, just to go out there and express my feelings about how I feel about the 125th anniversary of Lionel, which is this year, along with the brand new Lionel Vol.1 2025 catalog that just came out not too long ago. Now, this is 125 years of Lionel in business, okay? Now, looking through the catalog, I wasn't really necessarily happy with a lot of the items that they just announced. For me, it just felt a little underwhelming. And again, we're entering that issue again that we dealt with last year and the year before, where Lionel has been jacking up their prices like crazy. Not just for the legacy stuff and the Vision Line stuff, but also for the traditional stuff now, which I think is absolutely crazy. And once again, the traditional items in the Lionel roster have been the most affordable over the past 2 to 3 decades, or however long you're keeping count of. But now all of a sudden, they just decided, we're going to jack up the prices on our traditional stuff and make our battery operated trains more affordable. Like, come on. Like, I know there's a lot of young generations and a lot of young kids who are getting interested into battery operated trains, but you also got to think of the collector who just can't afford a lot of the higher end quality type engines, such as the Legacy and the Vision Line stuff once again. Now, to a small degree, I guess you could say there were some stuff that I thought there were some things in the catalog that I thought were pretty reasonable, such as the Donner Pass set at $1099.99. Again, a little bit on the pricey side, but not as bad as most of the other items that Lionel has showed off. And some of the traditional stuff, yes, those are really cool looking, and it's good that Lionel is really branching back out into the nostalgia factor. But again, you got to really ask yourself, is it really worth it? And, these days when I go out and buy a train, I always like to take a look at the item first before I think about purchasing it. Even when me and my dad are going to some of these big train shows, we always like to talk things over before we go ahead and proceed in purchasing a particular item in general. And another thing that I do want to bring up is that, the controversy, once again, with the paint jobs and all that and the fantasy schemes, that's still pretty much present in this catalog, such as for the newer models of the S2 turbine with both the Southern Pacific and the Chesapeake and Ohio paint schemes. They also do have a Tuscan paint scheme, which I doubt it's going to be as good, in real life than it is on paper as of right now. And for the Southern Pacific, I just have to say no. That wouldn't have necessarily worked in real life for the Southern Pacific Rail Line. Plus, they never had any S2 turbines, so why even bother? Now, the Chesapeake and Ohio, on the other hand, did have a turbine-style locomotive for their rail line, but again, not really an exact, replica of the real Chesapeake and Ohio turbine, but I can see what they are going for, and I will give that one a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But, again, it's just, some of these paint jobs are just, to me, I'll only buy like a fantasy paint scheme if it's, reasonable, where you kind of think to yourself, yeah, that could have worked in real life. Like, for example, the Norfolk and Western American Freedom Train. That was very reasonable, and it made sense for the time when it was released, because they came very close to making the Norfolk and Western 611, the American Freedom Train, in real life, before it went to the Southern Pacific Daylight in 1975. And again, when it comes to these fantasy or prototypical paint schemes that they've been showing off, you got to think to yourself, are they really going to be worth it once they release later in the year? So I would advise saying to vote with your dollar and really wait until the actual product comes out, before you start making judgments. But, at the same time, I really do hope that the Volume 2 catalog will be a much bigger improvement than Volume 1, because so far I'm not really too interested in anything that they just announced for right now. So I really do hope that this video really spoke to a lot of you guys out there on how I feel personally about a company that I've really been loyal to over the past couple of years. I say this multiple times. Lionel, their quality control was better off when it was still manufacturing in the United States. And at the same time, they still been doing good once they started making trains overseas in 2001, and for the next couple of years, probably like 10, 15 years. But then all of a sudden, they fall into that trap where, the quality is just not as great like it used to. So once again, I really do hope that this video has got, the attention of everybody out there. And I do really hope that you guys have enjoyed watching this as much as I have making it. I wouldn't necessarily say this is the video that I really enjoyed making, but once again, I really did need to express my feelings on the 2025 catalog, and I sure hope that Lionel does fall through at some point in the near future. And here's hope we'll get back to the quality that we all know and love. So with that being said, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification down below. And as always, my name is Mike. So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see you all in my next video.